So yesterday, President Trump signed NSPM 7, and that's the executive order that basically outlines some of the decision criteria around identifying members of Antifa. And we've already talked about this, but just as a quick review, here are some of the markers that they're looking for. For example, anybody that expresses anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, extremism on migration, race, or gender, any of these kinds of feelings, then they might be considered a member of Antifa. Obviously, that's all incredibly vague. And there's still not a lot of clarity about how exactly, like each line, how they're going to determine who exactly is expressing an anti capitalist opinion or just general criticism. And of course, this is coming at the same time that Trump is deploying the National Guard to Oregon, and that already has some controversy assigned to it as well. In fact, already we have Oregon planning to sue President Trump and the administration over this deployment. And here we have the court order for this suit, basically asserting that this is a breach of the Posse Comitatus Act. Now, this is the exact same thing that happened whenever Trump deployed the National Guard to Los Angeles against the wishes of Governor Newsom. Now, because he's deploying the Guard to Portland, Oregon against the wishes of the Oregon governor, the same situation's about to play out, and it does not look like Trump is going to have a good time in court, at least for this as well. Now, it will need to be seen what exactly happens if the court decides to vote against President Trump and for this suit, and basically show that Trump and the administration is in violation of the Posse Comitatus Act. Again, I mean, it's up to the executive branch to carry out the wills of the court if the court finds that there is a breach of the law. So what happens if there is a breach of the law, but the administration disagrees with that decision or feels like its decision violates national security objectives? And of course, now that they've designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, they might feel even more strongly about going against the will of the court because, well, they're not going after just any everyday protesters or people they're trying to deport. They're going after a domestic terrorist organization. So now it's a national security question. In either case, there's a lot to be decided on this, and this is far from over.